part 2 of the Divergent series that I was guided to watch. I watched all these movies about open. I haven't seen Disclosure Day yet, so that'll be my next one. Watch all these movies that I've never seen before, that are all related to open contact, that literally prove all my channels. I was trying to take a break. I was like, I want to get away from this. I want to get away from the psychic shit for a second. I want to get away from all of it. And then I literally was guided to like 10 things. It wasn't even that. Then I watched Real Housewives, and there's like a tarot reading on it. And then there's Mary Cosby's son, who, that's like really sad if you don't know. There was a Real Housewives whose son struggled really hard with drug addiction and stuff like that. And he actually ended up passing away from unaliving himself, which is just, I'm beyond tragic about that. That was it's a tragedy, because then I watched the show and you see him like guilting himself because he like uses like weed. And I, of course I've gotten channels about how no, like that actually connects you to God. And if you are a recovering drug addict, that's actually a really good substance to use. So it was just like, it was just like, because I'm like, no, like I just wanted to like be like, no, you guys are not getting it right. You're doing it wrong. And that's Matrix programming. And now we know that from the Epstein files, because the Epstein files have come out and said stuff about Schweed, where it actually like makes people harder to control. And that's why they like that's why they did all this propaganda against it, and why they gave us alcohol instead. And so it was just so sad to watch that. Like my heart was broken into a million pieces. I was just like, anyway. So that was a little bit sad. And then a couple, things later, there was a tarot reader on there. So I'm like, I just cannot get away from this shit. I can't get away from it, even if I try, even if I'm trying to, because Real Housewives used to be like my comfort show. And I used to use it to escape. And now now I'm like, I can't even watch it anymore. It's so painful to watch how, all these women, that's the thing about rich people. And again, these channels that I've gotten is that like all these people have taken God, my parents included, have taken God's gifts for granted, and they've squandered them, and they've treated people so miserably and horribly when God's given them everything and they literally have no reason to. And then people like us who are neurodivergents, which goes into the Divergent series, we were treated horribly, and we still treat people humanely and kindly, and we have way less reason to treat people nice and all that stuff, because we like literally have nothing. A lot of us, have really struggled with autoimmune disorders, or we've lost our jobs, or we can't keep jobs, or things like that, because we're literally not meant to be in them. But then we're told we're crazy and we have to figure it out because we have no choice, because we have to have jobs to live in this society. And so then we're maladapting in our behaviors and, all that stuff too, because we're not designed for this place, and we're actually designed to change it and all that stuff. And so it was just like, it was a lot, to see how like these people, like that's all I, like I used to love watching it and be like, I just, because it used to like make me feel better about my life, I guess, some way, somehow, with all their stupid drama, and now it just makes me feel so sad that, and like this is just gonna be a big wake up call for everybody. All I keep like realizing is like the scale of what God is gonna do to people's like brains and souls and consciousness. Like he's really gonna make people know him. And the thing is, we know him in a distorted lens right now, which is like that he's perfect and he's loving and he's kind and he does all this good stuff, and this is God's all around. God exists down here. But the truth is he doesn't. The truth is he exists in neurodivergence, but he doesn't exist in anybody else. And actually it's all Satan. Sorry, guys. Yep, you got lied to and tricked and all that stuff. And it does tell you that in the Bible, that Satan is, like that's the thing about all those, evangelical Christians right now, is they're like, Satan's real smart. I'm like, yes, you just don't realize how smart he is. He's actually tricked all of you, including you evangelical Christians. And then I was guided to watch the series from the lady of Real Housewives. Her name is Heather Gay, and she is an ex-Mormon, and she did this this little series on kind of revealing kind of abuse in the church and how it like actually protects abuse. Oh my gosh. So I'm like, okay, so she's deconstructing Mormonism basically right there. My lane I know is going to be Christianity someday. It's not going to be revealing. It's going to be revealing where they lied about the Bible. That's my thing. It's not that I'm revealing abuse, but that they lied about the Bible. So I'm like, I just see it everywhere, no matter where I go. If I turn the TV on, if I turn the TV off, if I have it in my head, if I don't have it in my head, it's just all around me all the time. I can't escape it now. It's everywhere. It's insane once you like get on this path, like how, it's like even the only way I can do it is if I sleep or take heavy D-rugs, and I'm, off of those now. But there are days where I'm like, I wish I could just zonk out for real. I just want like just a day off from this. But they're like, no, Satan, God, does not let me sleep. He does not let me rest in hell. So anyway, it's been crazy. So the Divergent series, sorry, back to that. So, there's all these divergents. They're in the society. And then so the government starts to try to overthrow other parts of the government, and they're trying to hunt the divergents, which is really funny because I'm like, that's just like what they're doing now. Like how fucking what's his face came out, RFK Jr. It was like Tylenol causes autism, and we need to eradicate autism, and like all this stuff. It's like, okay, they know. They know. That's the thing. And I think they know they're out of control, and they can't really they can't tell who the divergents are or not. So they just they're just saying crazy shit like this, and they're not gonna, so there is a little bit of distortion in that series where people turn against each other and stuff. That's not gonna happen. We have Open Contact coming. So thank God, that series isn't going. And then I just kept thinking oh, well, that's probably us in a parallel dimension because, multi-worlds interpretation theories say all realities exist. And our reality could be worse, guys. They have little nerve bullets that simulate actual being shot by, pew pew. And so I'm well, could be worse. I know I hate the dentist and I hate getting my blood drawn, but I could have, simulated bullets right now. So you know what? I'm not going to complain in this dimension anymore. It could be a lot worse. Anyway, I digress. So they rebel against this government system who's trying to take out that divergence, and they succeed and all this stuff. And then they get this message from the founders, and the founders are we're beyond the wall and we're going to help you and all this stuff. And that's okay, so the government is our actual government, how our government kind of went down with the allowing fascism to come into the country. Then the next part is they go to the founders and they find out the founders are corrupt too. They seem like they're not corrupt, but they're corrupt. And so then that's how the deletes are actually behind all of this, and they're corrupt. And so it literally is following Open Contact and Disclosure. And so we're already at the part where the next part is Open Contact, which they don't really allude to that in the series. They go back, and also it's in Chicago. I'm literally fucking from Chicago. I have a lot to say about that. But anyway, it's crazy. I'm what are the odds that movie's filmed in Chicago, and then I'm from Chicago and I'm getting all these psychic downloads about it? And I'm the one who realizes what that movie's about. Do you know what I'm saying? In this perspective, because I got all these downloads. And before, obviously, I always resonated with that series, but I didn't really obviously, same with The Givers. I always that movie. It's very similar where they sort people off, and then there's so there's a ton of movies. It's crazy now, which my guides call seeded transmissions. They have been seeding these transmissions into our reality since the 40s and 50s, all 70 to 100 years. They've been doing timeline work up in their dimension because shit got all fucked up there. And they had to come back in time and see what the hell was happening. And they realized, they accidentally fucked shit up. So now it took... And so there's, I already have those videos up, and I don't want to keep talking about it because I don't want to get more videos taken down. So, sorry guys, I'm going to be a little more cautious these next 90 days. Until, So anyway, that's it. Maybe I will make a separate account so I can, just start... I don't know. We'll see. I just like to have everything together, so we'll see. Anyway, so it was crazy. All those days, all this stuff, I'm I can't get away from this, and they guide me to all this stuff, and I'm what? I mean, there's this, I'm my mouse on the floor, the evidence, the proof in front of my 3D eyeballs is insurmountable, overwhelming. What are the synchronicities of it all? They lead me to things at certain times and things like that. So anyway, it's been crazy, guys. It's been a crazy couple days. I've learned a lot. Had a lot go on, and, so I'm still convinced that I'm not going to go away from this. This is never going to leave me now. I will always be weird. So that's where I'm at, and just accepting it, which has been hard. I've said that multiple times, but it's hard. It's hard to be a weirdo and talk about fucking aliens. It's cool, right? But there's also a part of it that, is really difficult for me. So I've been struggling, but hanging in there, and can't deny it. So what the hell am I going to do,